What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Zoids vs. III! So now that we've completed the new Century Zero tournament, we're going to move on to the Chaotic Century tournament, which is usually my favorite. It's my favorite season of the Zoids show, of course, and how I really got into the franchise. I always loved Chaotic Century, even though I wish there was a better way to own it on tangible media. So let's go and select our character here. We unlocked some new characters. For doing this campaign, or tournament mode rather, we did it off screen. I'm looking at some of the other choices we have here for the game story mode tournament, which I know there's a better name for that. For our player character, I'm going to choose adult Van and Fiona, and then Irvine as our teammate there, as I did in the previous game. So the first fight here is against young Van and Fiona and Moonbay, and he has the obligatory Shield Liger, and she has a Terra Striker, which I know I already demonstrated in the last tournament. But this one is pretty much stock. It's just a stock Terra Striker, but it's still a formidable opponent, actually. So I did this tournament off-screen and got some money to buy a couple of Zoids, and also unlocked a few new things. I'm going to show off the things that have been unlocked here, like Irvine's Command Wolf, Irvine's Gojulus. Let's see, there's the Command Wolf there. I want to get a Shield Liger Mark II eventually, but that'll be a little later on. Psycho Genosaur is now available, which I always love that. Ooh, Storm Sworder. I'm going to have to buy that when I get some more money. Definitely want a Storm Sworder if I'm going to pick a Flying Zoid. It's my favorite one. Maybe some new things in here. A variety of Terra Strikers. I might get one of those if they weren't so expensive for what they are. Not seeing anything else. What is that? It's not a Raynos, it's something else. Maybe it is a Raynos. That's available now too. Alright, looks good. So, the first Zoid I got here, obviously, is the Konig Wolf. The Command Wolf does not have a weapon on it because it's busy being on the, what do you call it? The Shadow Fox. I'm going to switch him over to the Red Horn that I got for him. As a viewer requested, they wanted a Red Horn for my partner, or a horn in general. They didn't specifically say a Red Horn, but that's all I could afford at the time, and he's actually pretty good, even though he doesn't have any really extravagant weapons yet. I'm going to work on getting a beam launcher for him. So right now the Konig Wolf is equipped with the dual sniper rifle, as it is stock. Actually, I didn't realize that stock, I realized it, but I didn't point this out, that it's stock equipped with this thing. So the Konig Wolf is straight broken right from the beginning of the game. Like, the Konig Wolf is 90,000 credits, but it's absolutely justified when you consider how powerful this thing is. It's really become one of my favorite Zoids, aesthetically too, design-wise, and as much as I love the Ligers more, it is kind of a shame to take them out so easily like that. But don't worry, I'll be using some other things that are not quite as overpowered here, and actually I'm going to be buying a new weapon for the Konig Wolf. One that's actually less powerful, but is used in different ways, just so I can kind of not break the game quite as bad. Because you saw what I did with the Shadow Fox in that previous tournament. Like, that's a bit abusive, and I know that's not what you guys want to see. So this Terra Striker does have quite a few weapons on it. It has a Vulcan gun in its head, as well as 2 or 3 different types of missiles. So it does have some weapons, even though it seems fairly stock. It doesn't have those other missiles that the... that is a really cool pose I got there, and I got an S rank right on. That was easy as hell, but yeah, even though it doesn't have those big missile launchers like the other one had, it is still a formidable opponent. Terra Striker was actually the very first Zoids model kit I ever got, and that thing was very fragile, just like the what in-game is. So now we're going up against Irvine and Herman, that's his name. I couldn't think of his name there for a minute. Rob Herman. And this is going to be a primarily close quarters fight because of the map. So I'm going to bring out this Raptor that I bought, also per viewer request. And I bought 2 weapons for it. I bought the Demon's Cannon for it, which is probably a translation inconsistency there. And also, I actually bought it with this Pile Banker as well, which is I mentioned it briefly in the Battle Legends Let's Play when we fought some of these guys. Seemingly not a great weapon. There's also a dual version of this called the Dual Pile Bunkers or whatever it's called. I haven't really tested that out, but I'd be curious too. And this thing is essentially a giant lance that thrusts forward as so, and actually deals quite a bit of damage. And the nice thing about the Raptor is it is very nimble. Small does equal more nimble, but it doesn't necessarily mean more. It doesn't necessarily mean faster. So having a small Zoid is not always an advantage, even though I typically stay away from the really big ones like the Gojulus and the Iron Kong. But yeah, this is actually, I didn't think this was going to go well at all. This is actually a really good fight to demonstrate this Zoid, because they're just helpless against this thing. Unfortunately, we have no close range, we have no ranged weapons right now as the Rev Raptor. The Rev Raptor doesn't really have a whole lot of ranged weapons, but as a small Zoid, as a cheap Zoid, it's really good. And the problem is it just doesn't have a lot of health. I will be using the blades probably in the next fight, and we'll just be able to see how much they've nerfed them in this game and reduced the ammo counter, as I said with the Blade Lagger. Wow, we really wiped the floor with them. Yeah, not too bad then. I'm always a fan of spear users in video games. I love the Dragoon class and all the Final Fantasy games. So, not bad. We get a B rank for that, which is pretty good, considering. Yeah, that thing deals a ton of damage, and it instantly staggers the Zoid too, so... if you notice there, I did a little leap backwards with the C-stick to avoid getting too close there, and that's just because I don't want to get staggered myself if I run in the Gojulus or whatever. Now we're up against Rosso and Viola, and he has his typical Red Horn, but she has a Storm Sworder, which is actually more accurate to the anime, as opposed to the random Mulga that she had before. See, in the previous game, they didn't have any flying Zoids, so they couldn't have given her the Storm Sworder, and they just gave her a Mulga so she could fight in a separate Zoid from Rosso, and they normally kind of just shared the Red Horn until she got the Storm Sworder later on in the series. I actually forgot that they even came back in the series until the last time I rewatched it. I didn't even know that they returned. But yeah, they come back and actually quite redeem themselves. So the Demon's Cannon is now equipped. The Pile Banker had unlimited ammo, which is pretty obscene when you think about now the blades have a limited energy supply. This thing it's good at seeking out targets, it deals a decent amount of damage, but it just doesn't have a lot of ammo, so this is not really a good campaign Zoid, or a Zoid that's going to last long in the field with extended use. It really does need more weapons, and it's quite frail. As we can see here, it's taking some damage from the Red Horn, but the Red Horn is going to be just eviscerated by the blades here. There's actually an episode in, I believe it's in Season 2, it's in Guardian Force, which Red Horn is which? Where Van actually hijacks a Rev Raptor and uses it to defeat a whole battalion of other Rev Raptors and various other Zoids, and he utilizes it quite well. Like I said, it's a good Zoid for its size, it's just very frail. It's primarily an Imperial Zoid as well. Now, as I said before in the previous campaign, or I'm sorry, previous tournament mode, the flying Zoids are usually quite formidable, and it's very difficult to get a good shot in them, but I've been having good luck so far with this tournament. I took out that Terrace in the last video really easily, or I'm sorry, in the last fight, and then now the Storm Sword is really not even putting up that much trouble. It's just kind of hard to hit him, and I don't want to run out of ammo. But the Storm Sworder does have a very dangerous melee attack, which is demonstrated in the anime. It has like a blade on its nose that swings out or whatever. Of course, that's not really going to be used here. But yeah, the Rev Raptor did us really well. I would definitely like to experiment with some of the other weapons it has. It has a weird green thing, which I'm not sure what that does. And I don't think it might be able to equip. In fact, I'm certain it can equip missiles, which I guess would be nice just to have them. And then, of course, it does come with the dual pile bunkers, which I'm not sure if those are any better than the single one. The single one seems like it's pretty good, and I'm not sure what the dual ones would do differently if they strike simultaneously. Maybe the damage stacks. I don't see how it could, but it'll be worth a try there. Yeah, only 1,700 health. Like, that's as much as the Command Wolf has. It's really quite frail. Well, relatively speaking, compared to what we need to use for this tournament mode, because this tournament mode can be hard. And speaking of hard, we're going up against a boss battle against the Death Stinger and Hilts that has it, of course. This is actually really early as far as the Chaotic Century timeline to be fighting a boss, yet alone the Death Stinger, because the Death Stinger came into it so late in the series. But whatever, I'm not going to question it. This tournament was much different in the previous game, so we'll forgive it for putting the Death Stinger where they did. So the weapon that I bought for the Konig Wolf, I just equipped it now, is the long-range pulse rifle, which is most famously seen on the Genosaur, and it's actually a very good weapon. It does, it homes in more accurately than the dual sniper rifle does. It has a faster rate of fire. It does not deal nearly as much damage though, but it's still a pretty powerful weapon, and it's very easy to use. So I'm going to be utilizing that just for some variety, and we will see how it goes here. Of course, I definitely want to stay clear of that charged particle beam. I did also buy some boosters off screen for the Konig Wolf because it desperately needs them. Konig Wolf can be pretty fast. I think I also figured out how to manually trigger that slide maneuver too. If you pull back on the analog stick in the reverse direction of wherever you're heading, you'll kind of skid to a halt. And this also works for doing that power slide mechanic if you want to make a quick turn, which is very, very handy. Although not required. I mean, it's a very nice mechanic they've added to Versus 3, but not something that you absolutely have to use in order to beat the game, because I thought the gameplay worked just fine in Battle Legends, but I really appreciate the tweaks. That being said, though, because the gameplay actually works well here, they had to make it harder, and believe me, do they make it harder. There is one fight in this tournament mode that is absolute terror, and we'll see that when we get to it. Like, I didn't have a hard enough time with the battles in the previous campaign, this one is going to hand me my ass. Like, I need the toughest Zoid I have at full power in order to deal with this. See, the Death Stinger wasn't really all that much trouble, and mainly because he doesn't have a lot of missiles, and I was able to distract him with my partner. My partner took a lot of damage, but he's still in the game. I probably will not get a good score for that, but at least I got a good amount of points for getting the 9,000 health kill there. Or 7,000 health kill, rather. Yep, decent amount of points, but a low rank, so... oh well.